Welcome to Intro to Anime, a podcast for gods. I am the host, John Hill, followed by my the host, Matt Hill. In this episode, we cover a ton of stuff. I'm looking at a list here because I have a terrible memory, but there was actually no new episode of My Hero Academia, unfortunately, so we do not go into detail about that. But we talk about Full Metal Alchemist. We talk about Korean customs that are really strange for Americans like us. We also talk about how long it would actually take to watch the most popular animes of this time, date, and age, and of course, a lot more. Deep into anime, deep into video games in this podcast, actually. So tune in. I hope you enjoy. And if you aren't already subscribed and all that good stuff, you know what? We'll save this to the end. Enjoy the episode. Bye. Wait, not bye. Welcome. So how about we talk about the 2 times this week you called me panicking in a good way about 2 different animes. Where like you're like, dude, I don't even know what to say. I'm just in the state of bliss. Yeah.
Euphoria.
Which 2 animes were those idiots?
I haven't done this in a long time. Usually I don't have people to call and be like, dude. Remember when we were Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
And Gohan, Cell Saga, and we're kind of jumping up and down, oh my god,
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
we were like that with that too. When the intro would cut on, we'd be jumping around.
It really does feel like I'm a kid. This week and last week, man, it just feels like I'm a kid again. Just because I finished watching. It was in the middle of Mob Psycho. That was the last one. The middle episode, I forgot what it was. Episode 6, where he goes into the mind or whatever.
Oh, yes.
The young lady. And blown away. Definitely called you on that one. And then the other one I called you on was Erased. Whoever suggested Erased. I've already said this, and I already thanked you, man. But seriously, thank you so much, because that show to me was just amazing, man. It was so good. But I finished watching Erased, and I was like, oh my god. You just had that feeling that you want, it's like a crackhead. You just kind of want more, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god. And I had to call John and just talk about it. I'm like, dude. And John hadn't seen it, and I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, there was definitely this weirdness in the conversation. We were like, well, dude, I could tell you so badly just wanted to be like, what happened in this episode? And I was like, I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, so. That happened, and he at least saw Mob Psycho. So
right.
With Mob Psycho, it was awesome. At least that, because when I called John, last week or so, you were like, yeah, I already seen both seasons of Mob Psycho. I was like, what? You literally cleared it in just a matter of days, right? So, apparently that's your shit. So you're finding ground on the animes you really like now. So,
yes.
And forgive me, by the way, I think I'm getting sick. So
cool. Just unsickify by the end of this conversation. You should be good.
I'll try. I'm sorry.
But yeah, the Mob Psycho is my ish. How far did you get?
Mob Psycho?
Yeah.
Oh, you underestimate me, young Jonathan.
What happened?
I finished it, my young
yes!
friend.
Okay.
Yo, you're wearing a Spike.
Yeah, I am. I
shirt.
am Cowboy Bebop.
Look what I'm wearing.
Oh, that's my boy. That's my first Progress Daily shirt. I don't think anyone has seen that shirt.
Oh yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so, fudge. Should we not hit up the spoilers? Because there's a few things that I want to tell you what my favorite scene is, and I also want you to try to guess. But let's just say I got to. I have to. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you haven't seen
Spoiler
alert. Skip forward. Just hit the skip button a couple times, and if you keep hearing a word, it's like everyone dies. Skip. Everyone dies twice. Skip. Because we're still talking about Mob Psycho. No, I'm just kidding. But can you guess what scene to me made me? Because you were saying when you were watching it, there was one part where you're like, "Let's fucking go!"
Yeah.
You screamed.
Yeah.
Can you think about what part happened where I was like, "Let's fucking go"?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
Did it have to do with the fitness club?
Yes.
Okay. Did it have to do with him fighting the big muscle guy?
Yes.
Dude. I even knew it. The moment I watched it, I was like, yeah, this is John's favorite scene.
Okay. Let me at least give us some context, because I was trying to explain this to Sarah even, and I was just speaking French to a non-French person. But yeah, so basically this whole show has what's the fitness? It's called the Fitness Club, the Better Body Club.
Oh my gosh.
So there's this club at the school. It's something like the Better Fitness, Better Body Club, and all the people in there just work their asses off in working out. And I feel like in a lot of shows, they try to make these people seem kind of douchey, like these like
Body Improvement Club.
the Body Improvement Club.
We're so bad with names.
The funniest part is one of the best jokes in the show. It starts off with Mob Psycho. There's a telepathy club. Mob Psycho, the main character Mob, is a telepath. He has all these psychic powers, so obviously he's going to join this telepathy club. But when he gets to the school, at the end, he's like, I know, I finally have friends. I know where I belong. What's it called again?
Body Improvement Club.
The Body Improvement Club. It's hilarious. So this dude who's like the most powerful creature on Earth joins this club to make his body stronger, even though his body is weak. His psychic powers are what he can destroy the world in an instance with. So everyone watching is kind of like, this idiot. Why would he pick this? But as the show moves on, you start getting clarity on why he's doing this. He wants to improve something that doesn't come natural to him. Like psychic powers is just something that is there. It doesn't make him feel human. So for him, he wants to work hard and be a strong human. So he's in this club, and all these bros are the best characters ever. They're the best side characters. They're like they have his back 24/7. They're always pushing him. They're always complimenting him like, you're really improving, even though he's like tiny, and they're huge.
And then that one part, they were like, hey, yeah, you might, with all this training, you might become an average 7th grader.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's a 7th grader. They're trying to get him to be average. Like he's working up, even though he's all powerful. But huge spoiler. I'm sorry, I have to. Is as this scene that happens, basically there is a ghost that can. Should I go that far into the spoiling? Like literally explaining the scene?
Well, I guess with the ghost. Well, that ghost, he always like what do you call it? Like controls other people.
Okay.
He always does that, right? I mean, he did it from like season 1, right?
Right.
I think.
So this ghost can control people, and basically there's this.
It's funny, like you were like, "Hey, should I spoil it?" And I literally went into spoiling it.
Thank you.
I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy controls people." So
but yeah, skip the next like 2 minutes if you don't want to hear exactly what I'm going to say, because I just want to say like I have to explain how I felt when this happened.
They're gonna be skipping.
Yeah,
it's like they're gonna be skipping to the end.
Yeah, they're gonna hear exactly the wrong parts. Like everyone,
what a good podcast.
Skip, killed.
Killed.
But yeah, so this guy is super supportive, and when Mob is in trouble with this insanely all-powerful creature that can easily kill everyone on Earth, those guys come to save Mob. But they're just strong people. They're not strong enough to kill all these psychics. Only Mob is. But they don't know that Mob has these powers, so they come to save Mob, and it's the best scene. They're like, if you've got a problem with our friend, you've got a problem with us. Like the most supportive side characters.
They are bros, man.
They're
bros for life.
And they're huge. But there's a scene where this all-powerful creature goes to stomp on Mob's face, and all of a sudden it stops. And you see the buff guy, the leader of the Body Fitness Club.
Body Improvement Club. I keep forgetting to have to look on the
He goes over Mob, gets on all fours, and takes the brute of the hit. And he's like, I will defend my friend till the end. And he's just like, it's like the
even
best.
if it costs me my life.
Yeah, that's
these are it's funny because these are like middle schoolers.
Exactly. They're like the best humans on Earth. They're middle schoolers. So you see, like, that moment alone, I was like, this is the best scene on Earth. And how was this guy withstanding the power of this guy? And he's sitting there, and his muscles are getting bigger, and you find out that he actually he's like going through the ground too. Yeah, he's breaking into the concrete, and all of a sudden the ghost that possessed people, who he's like this silly side character, but you also realize how strong and powerful he is too, and how good he can fight. He can possess bodies and take over them. So at that moment, he takes over this body, and his muscles just go like start exploding. And he turns around and like he basically defends and like gets the guy off, and they like go to punch, and like this dude, the good guy, is dominating the bad guy, and there's just this narration voice that's just like, it's like the muscles improved by actual human conditioning and work ethic is much more
powerful. The narration
powerful.
Added so much to it
Oh
too.
my gosh, it was like it's much more powerful than the actual power you get just from psychic powers. So this human, who this whole show is just working every day, every scene you see with him is working out, working hard, those muscles come into play, where those muscles are actually more important than psychic powers in terms of sheer strength. So, of course, now you realize
and that narration
why Mob
kicked in.
Oh, dude.
That was so awesome. It was just like, Yeah, because
And you
these
can
muscles
tell.
I worked every day of my life for, and it's like, yeah, boy.
Yeah. Especially with you. I feel like you, as someone who works out
Oh
almost
my
every
god.
day, I'm sure you were like,
Yeah, it was nice seeing like I guess the show creating that delineation. Like it's you're not gifted with it. It's something, and I'm kind of stretching here, but that's something really big with like Japanese culture and Asian culture is like you like work hard for your
yep.
for gifts, right? So I don't know if you ever noticed. I'm kind of like sidetracking.
No, you're
It'll
good.
be
You're
short.
good. You should, because I was about to like have a stroke talking about it. So,
So like you know one of the biggest differences between like American superheroes and like Japanese superheroes
what is it?
is like Japanese superheroes and like the things you see on TV. Those people they usually work very 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 hard for their like talents and stuff.
Right.
And like American ones have like they're
They're
usually
born with it.
gifted with it.
Yeah.
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 Like so.
I
I mean, like if you look at Dragon Ball Z, though, like of course he's just naturally a beast. But
Yeah.
again, he is a show about. Remember that show that what was that Eye Patch Wolf or whatever?
Yep.
Did he still like he pretty much showed like well even though they were born with a skill, the show is about them working and progressing past their like limits constantly. So
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, to me obviously that's what you and I vibe really hard with that. I think it has a lot to do with maybe just who we are in our community and kind of like what we kind of had to rely on. And I feel like you and I were very lucky in the sense where growing up, people just told us like, oh, you're lucky because you're just smarter and more talented because your eyes are slanted. And I was like, I never thought about that. And like as a kid, you kind of believe it. You're like, oh, okay. So I think we naturally just focused more on work ethic and trying to be smarter instead of like what we were
Just
graced
accepting
with.
what it said.
Yeah, because people were like, no, those are the things you're good at. So we were like, oh, let's just do the things we're good at. But later on in life, you realize like, oh, damn, it was really good that we practiced a lot at the things and worked hard.
Yeah.
Because now working hard, I mean, everyone has their perception of what that is. But for me, it's like, I feel like you and I actually can easily work harder than other people. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
Yeah. Just it depends who, right? Like so.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are a lot of people out there like. I mean,
Grinding
shit.
in the streets, bro.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Dad. He like, it's all work ethic.
Yeah.
That dude does not know how like not to work.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I agree.
forgot what he's going into.
Well, no, I mean, I agree. There's been this big weird conversation in like this in like the creative world, I guess, or whatever that I work in. And a lot of people are always talking about like work ethic versus luck and stuff like that. And everyone talks about that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I've been coming more and more to the idea that like, even though you can work really, 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 really hard, I guess like superficial success or whatever all kind of relies on a lot of luck. I mean, like,
Yeah.
no matter how hard someone works on like picking up a piece of dirt and then like turning the dirt into art or something like that, it's very likely they'll never make money doing that. Even though if they can spend 25 hours a day, that dude, or how about this, someone who lives in a poor country who has to go get water every day and clean water, like that dude is not working any less hard than I am. He's probably working 10 times harder.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I'm getting way more financial gain because where I live, the market, like I don't know, I'm lucky enough to like love the things that happen to be valuable today, but 99% of the world, no matter how hard they work. So that's why I'm like, dude, it's all luck half the time. Like, you work hard no matter what, you hope that it works out, but it kind of is the market. So
Yeah.
penis.
I feel you, man. Penis.
That's all about anime right there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Going deep. So.
Yeah. But dude, so yeah, Mob Psycho is absolutely my poop. I'm going to starting it over. I definitely have to watch Erased because I know it's a little not grimmer, but it's like quiet and like creepy, kind of, right?
Yeah. It's definitely a thriller. Like it's not your it's I wouldn't call it like shonen style or anything. Yeah, because I mean most animes you watch, and most animes actually like most people watch, they're shonens. They're the most popular animes. But yeah, I don't know. It's really weird, like how people progress in the anime world. Because I want to say that most animes out there are shonens because they're like the money grabbers, right?
Yep.
So people kind of go through like a process when they get into anime and stuff, and you're just getting into anime, so you're kind of going with the flow. on that, right? And right now it's like a lot of shonens are being thrown at you, and you're having a hell of a time, right? So whenever I think when most people first start watching anime, it's gonna be shonens for a while, right? You hear the big ones like, okay, I'm watching Naruto. I just started watching Naruto, or Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, Bleach, whatever. And it's not until a while that you start seeing like a finesse in like what people are watching. Like you started watching Mob Psycho, right? Mm-hmm. Mob Psycho is pretty shonen, but it has a lot of comedy in it. The last genre I got into was pretty much comedy. The last big genre. Comedy for me was very difficult to get into because whenever, I guess for a time there, I watched anime, it was like there's a certain set of attributes I like expected, right?
Right.
Shonen style, that kind of thing. And getting into the world of comedy for anime was eye-opening. It was insane. Just actually real quick, did you see the OVA for the Mob Psycho?
Oh yeah, the last one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, that was very fucking funny.
Yes. It was
Super
hilarious.
Funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That show's
like,
hilarious.
Yeah, what's crazy was like back then I watched the show called Full Metal Panic. There's 3 different seasons, I believe, for it. And
Full Metal Panicamist.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Love that one.
You recall it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that show, I did not care for it almost at all, like the first season, because I heard a lot about it, and I saw it on, I think at the time, Netflix. Netflix doesn't have it anymore. But I watched it, and I was like, okay, I guess I'd consider it shonen. And I was like, this is, whatever. And then someone had told me that the OVA is one of the best things that was ever created. The OVA, which is like the side story of the show. I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I started watching it. It's like called Full Metal Panic, like Fumojido, something like that. Some weird name. And it was the OVA series. It was like 12, 13 episodes of just a side thing. And they changed the anime into a comedy anime. And I was watching, I was like, what? What is this? And I started watching more. I was like, dude, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And almost instantly, overnight, I was like, I'm into anime comedy. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Even like comedy. And like from there, I started watching other like comedies. Like there's a very popular one called Ouran High School Host Club, something like that. People will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, very popular anime, but also a very awesome, pretty funny anime. And just watched a whole bunch of comedic animes. And I was like, dude, there's a fucking trove like of treasure here of like amazing animes. Anyways, so what's great about like Mob Psycho is that along with One Punch Man is that they're awesome animes, shonens that have great animation, easy like get into, and they provide that kind of like attribute also that they're really fucking funny animes.
Yeah.
And it's cool because since you just started getting into anime and stuff, and like you started watching Mob Psycho, since it's here, you got into, I mean, you're going right into something that took me like more than 10 years to like really get into. So,
well, it's also, I'm limited on time. I have to make sure that everything I watch is like, it's going to provide some kind of value. And if you're interested, this whole conversation has segued into 2 things that I really want to talk about. But the one thing is I calculated how long it would take to watch all the most popular animes.
Did you?
Yeah, and most of the ones you mentioned, One Piece, all of Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and Naruto. Because people recommend, obviously, those 4 all the time. Well, not Dragon Ball, because everybody assumes that everyone's already seen it. And Pokemon, they don't really assume. So these 4 most popular animes, Matthew Hill. Can you guess which one's the longest out of those?
One Piece.
Pokemon.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like arcs in Pokemon.
From what I found,
One Piece has not been around nearly as long as Pokemon, right? Pokemon came out, what, 97, 98, something like that?
Probably.
Golly, dude, that's like 20 fucking years, man.
Yeah, Pokemon apparently has 1,066 episodes. Yeah.
Well, One Piece is like a little behind it.
909.
Yo. Damn.
Yeah, and the totality of Dragon Ball. Actually, I can't. Dragon Ball, there's 153 episodes of Dragon Ball. There's 291 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. It's crazy because there's almost twice as many episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
It's almost 300 episodes of Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, there's almost 300 episodes. And then even...
Kind of felt like it.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon Ball Super, there's 131 episodes, so there's almost as many episodes of Dragon Ball Super as there is Dragon Ball, which is wild. Yeah,
I need to see Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball is actually like pretty comedic too.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, well, it's funny, kind of. It's not Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho's like clever and like obviously, Dragon Ball is just like it's like that old like slapstick humor, like things are crazy, and it's definitely a lot more Japanese than Dragon Ball Z in the sense of like there's a lot of fanfare and whatnot. But Bulma's whole existence is just kind of fanfare and annoying as hell, dude.
I feel like every time we bring up Dragon Ball, it slowly slides into Bulma.
Me hating Bulma.
Bulma, I'm like, here comes the rant.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry.
I enjoy it every time.
The only thing I want to say is that I skipped episodes when she would start talking. I would literally hit next when she would start talking sometimes. I'm like, this is the worst character. But then she obviously becomes kind of okay. They had to keep some of that initial thing, and I think some people loved it. They're probably like, oh man, like maybe at the time too, the way like women were in the like in the environment of Japanese culture, Japanese culture. Maybe having someone like that was like strong and cool, like being like, oh, it's like a girl who's like, yeah, you know, and like everyone laughed at that. But nowadays it was like some of this just seems sexist. Some of this is just she just sucks ass, like literal. My movie stopped recording. Times did change, but
yeah, I bet you if you were watching it when you were like, at that time, you'd be like, oh, this is completely fucking normal.
Yeah, exactly. So Naruto, this is weird, but it said it had 220 episodes. But when I looked
that's probably the first season, right? The first arc?
Exactly. I was like, that's a lot of episodes. And then it was like, but the next part has 500.
Shippuden?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's Shippuden. I did not know it had 500. That's
twice as much as Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
So
that's insane.
It's ridiculous. But you want me to give you my answers?
Oh god.
Okay.
So we're on the basis that they're 30-minute episodes each.
So they kind of differ actually. So I mean, when I looked it up, it said One Piece is basically 24. Dragon Ball is all of Dragon Ball Z is like 22. Pokemon was 21. Like they're all like kind of in that range. It said Naruto was 20 minutes excluding the intro. So this time is going to be like probably, hours off from what the actual answer would be. This is like the guesstimate.
Yeah. But this is going to be a large amount of time. So hours is like minuscule.
Yes. So let's start with not One Piece. Geez, Dragon Ball is the smallest. I think about Dragon Ball being the least amount of episode show out of a list. Dragon Ball totals, my God, 210 hours and 50 minutes.
Jeez.
If you nonstop watched it.
210 hours.
200, which means I spent 210 hours on Dragon Ball. Well, no.
Dragon Ball 1?
The whole Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z,
the whole thing.
and Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
So thinking about that kind of depresses me that I spent that much time on it. But at the same time, I skipped probably a third of the whole thing. Especially Dragon Ball Z. Dude, I already mentioned this before, but the funniest part is when they first beat Boo. I think they first beat Boo and he turned into Kid Boo, I'm pretty sure. But Kid Boo, it's like twice as long. I skipped all of it. I didn't watch the Kid Boo saga at all. I literally went to the end where he dies. Yeah,
I don't remember Kid Boo, like, barely. I remember watching the beginning of the Boo saga, and then when he, pretty much, actually from the moment he, like, expelled his dark Boo self out.
Yeah.
And, like, his dark self, like, ate.
Yep.
It's funny, talking about it, it's, like, the weirdest show ever. But, yeah, and he just eats the chocolate version of him. And, yeah, from there I was like, oh, cool. And then I think I saw, like, bits and pieces, of course, Goku going to level 3. How long did Goku yell for in Super Saiyan 3?
I don't know, 6 episodes? Like, straight up, dude. It drives me crazy. Like, I don't think I could watch Dragon Ball Z again. I could watch Dragon Ball Super, but I think pacing-wise, that's all I have as an adult, is Dragon Ball Super, timing-wise. Yeah. But yeah, so Go ahead.
Like how long like Goku did the Spirit Bomb for Frieza,
right.
like I guess Gohan and Super Saiyan or the Kamehameha. I feel like that wasn't too many episodes. That was like 3 episodes or something like that.
Maybe.
2 episodes.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Gohan, the Cell, like the finale. Oh wait, I'm thinking the Cell.
Yeah.
I just skipped Majin Buu completely.
Yeah, the Gohan Cell.
Yeah, right. That wasn't as many episodes as they've milked before. I think the Frieza one, they were like, dude, we can literally get away with 50 episodes of him screaming.
Yeah, he just like hit Super Saiyan. People are still like, it's gonna take him like 20 episodes for him to realize what's actually happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. That I can't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm not into it. But so next to that is Naruto with only 770 total episodes. And luckily somebody else calculated this, so it wasn't really hard for me. But they said that it took them 14,400 minutes, which is a weird thing to say. So basically 240 hours. So it took them 240 hours, which is 30 more hours than Dragon Ball. And I'm just going to go down this list now that people are hooked. And you're you're listening to me. And then
Got him, John.
Got him, dude. They're so hooked right now, dude. What if like that's so funny to think like if a commercial did that? Like they start off being like, "Sex, dude, we got him. Let's get him now."
Dude, that would be amazing. Like you have a side camera of like someone's like internal feelings and like how they're actually like thinking like, "Hey guys, oh fucking get him, we got him."
That would be sick, actually.
That's
I feel like
funny. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, dude,
God.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's like go for the kill. For now, you can get a free offer. It's like you just murdered them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So One Piece totals 363 hours and 36 minutes. And then, of course, Pokemon totals 373 hours and 6 minutes. So what is the total if you were to watch all these shows? So people recommended this all the time. If I actually listen to your advice, which I probably will, I'll probably go through a lot of One Piece. Naruto, I actually didn't get hooked on in the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, shit. Demon Slayer.
Oh, how do we keep forgetting to watch that, dude?
Seriously. We gotta fucking just sit down.
Write it down next time, and next week we'll definitely
next time we'll write it down.
Yeah, exactly. Next time we'll write it down, and that'll persuade us next time to actually watch it. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
So in about 4 episodes, we'll have maybe started watching it, or at least we'll start remembering to watch it.
Exactly. So by the time our lives are over, maybe we'll see the first episode.
I don't want to wait.
I don't want to. I was thinking, I don't want to waste my time.
Here we go. I'm the man.
Okay. So Pokemon is the most episodes. I already said this, I think. I did. So what is the total hours and minutes if you watch all 4 that you people recommended? It'd be 1,187 hours and 32 minutes, a.k.a. non-stop watching anime for 49 days, 11 hours, and 20 minutes. So just imagine.
That would be the life.
That's literally someone's life. Yeah. Back in, actually, what is it? 49 days? Yeah, I was going to say back in the good old days, that's like a lot of people's lives only last about that long. That's really grim, actually. But like babies only go like half a year and like there you go.
We've gone down to the baby jokes.
Man, gotta get out of here fast.
You know where to go for solid jokes.
For solid baby jokes, find us here.
Yeah,
but yeah, so calculating that, I literally did that right before this podcast, and I was like, I will probably spend a lot of that time doing just that, especially with One Piece. Dude, watching anime with everything that I do, especially like I've luckily found this Zen state in life where I'm like, I love just taking the time to do something that genuinely just makes me feel really good. And anime, I understand it now. Like I swear when I was younger, the world was way more about like, be productive, don't waste all your time doing this, grow up, do all this shit. And now the world is just working really well to being like, dude, it's just life, man. Get out there and watch some anime.
Go with the flow, man.
Dude, yeah. And it feels so good. But yeah, so that would be time well spent, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, mom and dad, they're like, I play a lot of games, I watch a lot of anime, right? Yeah. And so, I'll talk to mom and dad about like playing games and stuff, and mom's like, Matt, you have to grow up one day, like constantly telling me, grow up. So like,
right.
And I'm always thinking, okay, that's just what mom says all the time. And it's funny because one time I told mom, like, because mom prides herself in my accomplishments, right?
Right.
More so than I do, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
So the degree I have and stuff, she's like always super proud of it, right? So, oh, my baby boy, college, and like one day,
What is it? Master's degree in computer engineer, right?
yeah. So, yeah, and she's always like, oh, my little engineer, and I'm like, yeah, and one day, actually, John, I never thoroughly thought about this, but the main reason I became who I am and went to computer engineering, of course, and this is probably a lot of computer engineers too. At least it's what it started into. It was games, right? For games, I was like, I want to be a software guy, and you realize real quick that that's not the fucking software world, right? I mean, it can be, but it's like when you go to school for it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is nothing like games and stuff. But regardless, my whole journey into programming and becoming, going to that major was video games.
Yeah.
And, I'm thankful for it because, even though it was completely different, it is something I kind of transferred into something else I liked. Anyways, so one day I ended up I went up to Mom. I was like, Mom, she told me, you gotta have to grow up one day. And I was like, Mom, the reason I became, or I went to school for computer engineering and got the major I got? She's like, no, why? I was like, it's because of video games.
Yeah.
I was like, the only reason I got into that field was because I played video games, because I liked video games.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? It's like, no. He goes, what? Dude, she was like
glitching, like, oh.
Yeah. He goes, cannot compute. And like, dude, she looked baffled. Anyways, it was until a couple days later, Dad was like, I was like, Dad, yeah, what's crazy is that I really got into, because it hit me hard. And I was like, I got into my major because of video games.
Yeah.
And Dad was like, yeah, I heard. Mom said that.
Oh, so Mom did register it.
Yeah, Mom was like, so like every now and then, like she might say something about games or something, but it's like very different now because
that's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like the camera is stupidly cut off. Yeah, Chris, family friend of ours. We used to go over their house a lot. He's like what, probably 4 or 5 years older than us.
Wow, that's it.
I thought he was in high school. Oh, he was in high school when we were in like elementary school, so he might have been.
I feel like he was like 6 years older than us.
Yeah, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, because Steven's 9,
9,
which is my half brother, but Steven's 9, and I think he was just barely younger than Steven.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember. And sorry, I'm turning into this into like a video game podcast.
No, get it.
It goes along the lines of anime and stuff too. But yeah, I remember him like playing a game, and he was playing Final Fantasy VII, right?
Of course.
I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at. Me and John, we played some games growing up. We weren't super into them. We did play a bit, but I honestly don't remember like too many game consoles back in Texas or anything. But he was playing Final Fantasy VII, and just like that moment, I was like, whoa! And also like, what are you playing? And like literally, it was him like with Cloud and Tifa and everyone on the field and Ares and stuff, and they're going into that battle animation, right? And it's like your JRPG battle style. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And literally from that day, my whole life, if you like see like a strand, my whole life like just went beep, like just veered completely off, man. Like whole life was fucking made that moment.
That's amazing.
So, yeah. I don't even know why I went down that path, but it's pretty much just like how funny Mom's reaction to that whole thing about
and it's just
the video games. Oh yeah, we were talking about the significance of it.
Yeah.
Damn, I deterred a lot, but yeah, it was so I find all that time, the many hours and days I've spent watching anime, playing games, as completely like, for me, it's worth the time.
Of course. Dude,
Yeah,
people have their perspectives of what makes life worth it, like in the moment. And a lot of people will think like, dude, if you're like in Egypt climbing a pyramid, that's living. And it's like, dude, I've done a lot of random things like that, and I would rather sit inside and watch anime, because by the end of it too, I learn a lot more. Like, I have a different perspective. And also, I think watching any media from a different country or something like that adds a lot more empathy to the human who's watching it. Like, you understand, I'm sure, Japanese culture a lot more than you would if you've never seen an anime before. Same with, like, it unites the world in a way, too, to watch content created by other people. I'm, like, really turning this into a bigger thing than it is. Like, the world is saved because of anime and video games. But
but we're talking about like the significance of doing something like what a lot of people think is trivial.
Totally.
So like when you scale it to like kind of a world decision, then it's like it isn't that trivial. It is like you're valuing your time differently than other people. Other people are like, oh, you're just sitting on the couch doing whatever. But even taking in information is like, is valuable.
Yeah, especially some people genuinely feel more and take more out of the moment sitting on the couch watching something that's exciting to them than they do when they go out and about and do things. Like, movies always show these scenes where people are like, I finally went out and about and now I'm a different person, I'm saved. And it's like, that's not real life a lot of the times.
Yeah.
A lot of times real life is like understanding yourself good enough to know that you should sit on the couch and show. And like with me, these animes, with how gung-ho I've been in the last 3 or 4 years, like the kind of workaholic mindset, I have very much been excited to welcome more, not distractions, but things that like keep me off from caving into myself. Like Matthew knows too. I used to call Matt a lot more about being like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm over it. Like, I'd be like, dude, I'm over this YouTube shit. I'm over all this. I never call you about that anymore because I've gotten all this closure from, just being able to relax and watch shit and just like, you just have to understand yourself and figure out what you need more of. If you are someone who wants to go out and about and that's what makes you feel fulfilled, do that more often.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're not saying we're totally not super knowledgeable about like any kind of psychological.
Yeah, right. We're not.
We're not telling you what to do. We're just saying that there's definitely the alternative. Like, it works for some people, it doesn't work for others. So.
And everything also, I mean, how many times in my life am I going to say that everything's perception? But to an adult,
it's a constant. I mean, it's a constant battle. You have to constantly remind people, like.
Totally. I mean, you do, because at the same time too, people always, especially when I was skateboarding, people would always go into like, well, this sport, this activity is stupid compared to how cool skating is. And I'm like, based on what? Just because something is traditionally more valuable or traditionally less valuable, it really is just this thing that we created, and we created the idea of what it is. It's all trivial and whatever.
It's all like, idea. Yeah. I mean, the idea of it is an idea. Your opinion is an idea. So it's all
ideas, and it's all subjective. Nothing is like fact. And especially like with sports too. I remember one time a baseball player came up to me and my friends, and he was drunk and he was aggressive, but there was like 10 of us, but he was like, I think skateboarding's gay. And we were like,
are you serious?
I swear. And we were like, what do you do? He's like, I
did not expect that. This is in South Carolina.
Yeah, of course. And we were like, I was like crazy nice to him. Like, I was like laughing and smiling, and he had his friends in the car waiting, and they were yelling like FAGGIT and stuff. Like, I could hear that. And I was like, well, what do you do, man? And he was like, I play baseball. And I was like, same thing, right? And we're both just like playing around, And the funny thing is, in his head, he was convinced that baseball is this more important thing because the country watches baseball. It has a lot more money in the sport. But I was like, dude, break it down. Baseball is awesome and it's amazing, but it is just a ball being thrown at another dude who hits it. There's literally like no room for creativity either. It is just like a stagnant. I mean, you can improve by like muscles and throwing farther and harder, but I'm like, dude, it's the same thing. Like, skating is just this toy that I play with. A baseball is just a toy you play with. Like, to think that in some way just because the world says it's a bigger thing, it's not. Like, I don't know. It's just the market. Skateboarding will be more valuable than baseball eventually. Basketball will probably always be more valuable. It's like, it's just a ball. It's just a toy. Who cares?
It's all perspective, man.
It do be
perspective.
It do be one newbie.
It's crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm always digressing. Slight digression. You know how many times I tell people, like, because South Carolina USC is such a sport, like, college.
Yeah.
Right. It's college football here it's big.
Yeah.
It's huge. USC.
Gamecocks.
Yeah, exactly. And like, how many times I tell people like, oh yeah, they're like, hey, what college you go to? I'm like, oh, I go to USC. It's like, how about them Gamecocks? It's like, you going to college, who gives a shit about like the knowledge and stuff like
Yeah.
that you've accrued or whatever? It's always like, how about them Gamecocks?
Dude.
It's like, and what's the funniest bit is just seeing their soul crush when I say, I don't give a shit about football.
Yeah, that is kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I used to
okay.
enjoy it.
I usually tell them, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I get some, I don't like to disappoint people sometimes,
Totally.
so I'm like, oh, yeah, it's good. But then
No,
when they
yeah.
talk too much about it, they're like, yeah, you remember when blah 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 did this and this? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I don't watch football.
Like,
I've
I don't
never
know
been
what
to
you're
a football game.
Yeah, I literally don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm nice too. Like when people mention, people will. I used to deliver food in Columbia for like years, and when I would, I'd get to the door, and if there was a game the night before, they'd be like, "Can you believe that?" I literally can't even fake what the conversation was.
you know about this too.
Well, yeah,
like you don't even have to be in the college. Like
Yeah, they'd be like,
everyone
the
fucking hears it.
Yeah, it'd be like defense on the new 3-pointer. I'm like, I literally don't know what you're saying. This is funny too. I remember like, so USC colleges, whatever. They got smart kids, they got dumbass kids. I remember I worked at a skate shop too. It's like I was what's it called when you a store, like that's the
A clerk
job. Anyways, whatever. I worked at a skate shop,
Yeah.
and I remember this is kind of fucked up, but when someone would come in and would be like obscenely stupid, we would be like, oh, they're a college kid here. Like the way that you could determine if they went to school.
It's the
there,
look too, right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
wearing like
They'd walk in and be like, sorry, I'll just look at her, and we'd be like, dude, you're in college.
like they're wearing very, very like bright pastel colors or whatever.
Oh, of course. I'm like, dude, just learn how to speak first. And then it's funny because when, like, I don't know, I loved the whole alternative culture in Colombia because they had the two opposites. They had that, then they had like everyone, the punk rock scene and blah, 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 and all these people dying of heroin overdoses, which is terrible. But that was like,
I love how there was like small giggle like in the middle.
I didn't mean to. I'm just saying, like, I'm sitting here being like,
it's the shift. It's the shift in
it's
conversation.
the shift, and it's also being like, this other side is so great, even though some of them die from heroin overdoses. But that's just what it was. But it was still like those people when they would walk in.
We're fucked up.
I know. I'm sorry. Our whole family's like this.
Oh my god.
It's easier to laugh too with things that are so precedent in your life. Like when we talk about fucked up shit that happens in our life, it's like way funnier. But people don't really vibe. But yeah, I'm sorry. But anyways, but yeah, those are the conversations that I'd be more interested in. Literally being like, dude, let's just talk about president.
Presidently.
Yeah. I loved when Obama would come visit Blue Tile and have a president conversations. Oh my goodness gracious, dude. Goodness. Heroin, am I right?
Yeah.
Take me to I should probably stop joking about that. But also, I don't give a about PC culture, bro. I actually dealt with like this PC thing on my channel where I said, I went skating this. This is actually pretty fucked up, but I went and skated this park, and I literally it was in the Bronx, 185th Street, all the way up north in the Bronx, and I named the video Hood Skate Parks of NYC. And all these people from New York were like, the fuck, bro? You calling my place hood, dude? You don't know what it's like, bro. Gentrification. And I'm like, how come all these people
immediately acting hood?
Yeah, I'm like, how come all these bitches? I should say that. What I mean is, how come all these pussies? Oh no, I shouldn't. My head goes into seriously though. I think like, dude, every time I hear someone complain about me about some PC nonsense, it is like the locals in California and New York, the two most privileged cities in the country. Like I'm like, bro,
that's pretty much how it goes. I think, yeah, I believe most people pretty much realize that.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like, but most of my audience is from New York and California. And it's hard for me to be like, dude, I'm not from these areas. So I'm not PC. Like I'm where I'm from. Like we joke about gnarly shit all the time because we didn't have New York and LA. Like we're not in the heart of the most culturally diverse. We're not, like there's not celebrities around us who are being like, you can make millions of dollars. We're just like, we're in Columbia, South Carolina. Like maybe we can go to, like there's not. So anyways, so I get kind of defensive too. Like when people are like that, I'm like, bro, you're from New York. Like, calm down. You're good.
All right.
You don't even need to defend yourself. And like even the hood. I looked it up too, and I was like, there's 48 other states, bro. Like, people get defensive about their places in New York. I'm like, there's 48 other states. I know you might think like it's hood here, and yes, maybe I should have been more empathetic towards the way that you feel about hearing hood about your city. But dude, a popular.
I mean, was it like a bad thing? I mean. So I'm like so ignorant when it comes to like
you're good. No, it was
kind of shit. So
I think they just felt like I was like attacking they were basically
like
saying
calling them out.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought it was a race thing too, and I was like, dog, if you think it's a race thing, that's pretty fucked up on your
Someone
part.
thought it was a race thing?
Yeah, but I don't care. I like literally like I care about
culture,
what
man.
I care about what you
like,
think and what mom thinks, but the world could think I was a racist, rapist, and I didn't care. Like I don't care if people think that.
It's strange that I mean, I can't imagine the comments like you saying something hood like. Last thing on my mind was, like a race issue.
Yeah,
like
not.
people who bring that up, of course, internally, because I mean, I've definitely used the race card before. Me and you both, I'm sure, have.
Yeah. I mean, I have
and
too.
It's like,
yeah.
It's like that's like your first defense. Like that's your first attack, right? It's like when someone says hood, like your immediate defense, and it's a shame too, because it was a shame for me. Whatever times I have used like the race card. That like I would use an offense in the way of like using a race card,
right? Because there's no defense. It kind of sucks if you throw that at like a white person's face. You're like, hey, well, I'm Asian. That's the only reason you think that. You're not even allowing them to have a position. Like they're just like, okay, now they're stuck, and it's like,
and it's funny because like since you are like even like half Korean, like I mean you're half white, half Korean.
Yeah.
If someone throws like, oh yeah, that's racist, like saying the hood thing, like. There's not much.
It falls on deaf ears
ammo.
to me, obviously.
It's not much ammo right there, and that's for a lot of people too. Like, oh wait, they can't really say that because it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
he is a minority, so he's even though you are half white, right? I mean, you both are. It's
half
like
privileged.
Yeah, so like how exactly? Like, yeah, I mean, look at these two like minorities. It's like. We are still half white, so.
Well, the ironic part is he was like, yo, your race. He says your racism is showing, and I was like, bro, you don't realize how fucked up it is that you said that because in your head, I could tell that he's assuming that the hood I went to is one race, right? He's probably assuming it's black people. Yeah. I'm like, bro, that's not a predominantly black area. Like where I went when I was going, it's Asians, blacks, Mexicans, and like a bunch of other. Like Asian types that I don't even know of. It's a very diverse area, but you're right. It's not white people, but you think I don't like anyone else but white people? Like, so him saying that alone, I was like, that's funny that you pinned it on one race. Cause you just accidentally said a fucked up thing.
Yeah. And that's how it goes. Like when people use the race card it's usually because their mind, I'm not an expert in this, but it's more like reflection. Like it's when I said those things, it's because my mind was diverted towards like a racist agenda itself, right? So like, I mean, looking back, so.
Looking back at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was trying to think of the song. What song was that?
I Creed or something. It's like looking back at me.
Creed. It does sound like Creed. Well, yeah, okay, I got to say.
Well, I could talk about our lives all day and spoil our entire existence, but your boy has a topic that I think would be really funny to go over, just because we're kind of talking about this race thing anyway. So I wanted to make fun of Korean ass eyes. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but I found this. I'm sorry.
Can we take a little pause?
Yeah, I gotta pee all over the place.
Yeah.
We just hit 1,000 subscribers too.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have done
a celebration.
Dude, okay, I kind of noticed that, man. It's so weird. Like, because the more we've done this, it's so wild. Like, you already know.
Yo, what, dude? Shut the fuck.
Like when I walk down the street, dude.
Oh,
like,
right.
It's so crazy. Like, people just kind of. I mean, it's expected.
Of course. Like, 1,000 subscribers at this point.
Yeah. They just stop in their tracks and like, literally just bow.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not really surprised, but I mean, let's just say it's a long time coming.
Totally. I mean, you've deserved it to this point. The world just hasn't seen you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, 1,000 subscribers, that's one in each city, maybe?
Yeah.
And
so, I mean, if you think, and like, if you put 1,000 people in a room, they wouldn't fit.
That's what I'm, like, literally what I'm saying.
Dude, seriously. Like, it feels weird Actually, I guess not. I mean, it's people now can see a god, right?
I guess so. I like deity.
Deity.
Yeah, I consider myself more of a deity than a god at this point.
Yeah.
But I think once we hit like 1,500 subscribers, I'll hit god status.
Yeah, I'm not really prideful and I don't like boasting, so I'm more like a demigod.
Yeah.
I'm just partially in godhood because, I
mean, staying humble to this point, though, I mean, that's an extra applause for you, I would say.
Yeah. So, but this.
Speaking of racist, Matt.
Yes.
There is actually something that I thought was really funny that I found randomly. I was looking up bowing traditions in Korea, and I found this website that I thought would be funny if we kind of just like looked over together, called 10 Unique Korean Customs, so things that are very unique to Korea. And since we are from America, seeing kind of how we vibe with it, if we even do vibe with it, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the list and just kind of see like if you think that's weird or if your mom is Asian.
Okay.
Cool. And the first one, number 1 out of 10, it says beware of pushing and shoving. It says the notion of saying excuse me or sorry when attempting to bypass someone while walking on an escalator or in a crowded grocery store simply does not exist. So basically,
it's like New York, right?
Yeah, it's exactly.
So, yeah, I would say like in South Carolina that's really strange, right? Because you can. It's almost exactly the opposite here. So if you bump into someone, shove someone, if they don't say like sorry or anything, like the other person usually they're like you can see the look on their face like the fuck, like why didn't they say something? You know what I'm saying? Like it's expected.
Totally.
Definitely expected here. Even how you, I'll take it a step further. Even how you like respond to a older person, maybe. When they say something, yes sir, no sir.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's expected, depending on where you're at. Maybe not so much in the city and stuff.
Yeah, I would say in New York it's not like that. Like I would say kids don't even say yes sir or no sir. They just say like yes Bill.
Yeah,
whatever.
Literally like I went to the dentist and the nurse there, she was just looking at my teeth. She even mentioned like, my daughter, she's getting married, and the thing is like, the husband already has like 2 kids, but she should have said this to me. She was like, and I was like, oh well, it doesn't seem like you kind of dig that. She goes, well, he's kind of a Yankee. Dead serious, like
like up north.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
funny.
funny.
I was like, really? I was like, oh, they just had their ways, right? And like, she was like, well, the kids, they don't say like yes ma'am, yes sir.
Yeah.
And when they eat, when I cook all night and I finish like the dinner and stuff, they don't say thank you or anything.
See, that's fucked up though.
I was like, because you're expecting a reward. Yeah. Because like, oh, you mean like them saying thank you, not saying thank you
is fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
I would agree. Yeah, because when she told me, I was like, that's pretty shitty. But the yes ma'am, yes sir thing, I was like, okay, I guess. But I feel like saying thank you after someone's done something for you is pretty universal.
Yeah,
right?
I think
even Korea, especially Korea.
Right. Well, I think I kind of think that when people kind of work together, maybe true kindness comes out of not expecting something in return, I guess. But I do think there is an exchange in values, and if someone makes you a meal or does something that clearly is like the upper hand of value, then like a thank you is the minimum. Like instead of paying them money for the meal, you can just say thank you, I appreciate it. Like with mom, it's like say thank you.
It means so much too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It means so much. It can change a person's entire day.
Same.
Like that amount of power is so crazy. So.
Right. Number 2, what personal space? Confucianism ideology, perfect, reigns supreme in Korea, and this set of beliefs greatly influences society, blah, blah, blah. Oh, including on how Koreans view space. So basically, personal space doesn't exist in Korea. I'll say this.
Right.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah, definitely noticed that. Is this from a website?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually like, it's nailed like 2 things that's like...
Oh, yeah, I think this website's pretty accurate. I think it was written by a Korean person. Nope, it's written by someone who stayed in Korea for a little while. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, so the personal space thing...
Moving on.
So I think that's an Asian thing in general, because when I go to Chinatown, people will stand almost touching me behind me with no one around. It's not like it's cramped. They just are like, we're just gonna stand here, and I'm like, bro.
It's more like they don't really care, right? It's not like I want to be close to this person. It's just like,
yeah,
okay,
no,
it's just space.
Which is probably the better. I mean, I think that is a better mindset than Americans. Like the fact that I get worked up when someone stays that close, I have the problem. I think.
Yeah, I get fucking anxious when someone's like right next to me. I'm like, ugh. Even in an elevator, people having to like get. Remember when we went to New York and it was like the week before New Year's, right?
Yeah.
And that was like, I just I just don't want to go anywhere crowded. You're like, all right, cool.
I got the perfect spot.
The first place, the first place we go to is like this display store, and it is literally like nut to butt.
Yes.
Like of people. Like I was like getting crushed. I was like, oh my gosh. I could see Dad's head poking out from like a sea of people, and he's like, he had the face of like someone who was like horrified.
Yeah.
I've never seen my dad scared in his entire life, but this moment, I like truly saw fear like in that man's face.
Yeah, I felt terrible, dude.
I'm sorry I keep bringing it up. It is like one of the funniest fucking stories. Like I love that story. Just poor Dad, but it was just a whole circumstance. You're like, all right, you good?
Yeah, I was like,
I gotcha.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're gonna love New York. I'm gonna make it really easy for you. It is kind of a cramped city, but I'll make it easy for you. And that has never happened to me in New York, where I've been nut to butt stuck on the sidewalk, and my dad was. Like when I looked over too, I was like, I just ruined traveling ever for my dad. He's never gonna come to New York again, which he probably won't at this point. But it's fine. I'll go to South Carolina and hang out. So number 3, use both hands when shaking hands. So when you're saying what's up, you put your other hand on their hand, you bow or whatever. We talked about how funny bowing was last week. But yeah. But yeah. So basically, yeah. But yeah, you put your other hand on the back of their hand and you like bow. So yeah, in America, it's definitely not like that, obviously. If you shake a hand, you just use one hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it says it's a big no-no in Korea. The left hand shouldn't stay resting on one side. Instead, it should be used to clasp the hand of the person. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you get the point.
Really?
That's what it
says.
says.
I guess I didn't really shake too many people's hands in Korea to notice that. Well, I know here, like, we have our own, like, routine for shaking, even shaking a hand, right? Yeah. Eye-to-eye contact. For me...
Right.
Yeah, for me, I like
your grip. The more, yeah.
Yeah, firm handshake. Like a shirt handshake. And for me personally, I stand up when I shake someone's hands.
Right.
Believe it or not, if I'm seated, I'll at least like do like a half stand.
Yeah,
Like I'll sit back down. So
yeah, so
especially in business and stuff.
We have our things too that I think have just become so traditional that we forget that it's like that it is just tradition. It's not something that you just would naturally do. Number 4 is hilarious. It literally just says smiling is for fools. And it says, walking around in the streets of Korea, one would get the impression that its citizens aren't the friendliest people based on the scowls on their face. But the truth is most Koreans are really warm and generous. But basically, if you're smiling at a stranger or walking down the street smiling, people will think you're crazy.
Isn't this a known thing? I have heard this before. That like, yeah, if you're just smiling for no reason, I've heard that saying before. I just can't remember where.
Was it a Korean thing or an American thing? Because in America too, I mean, if I walk down the street and someone's like this, I would be like, oh, they're clearly on drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought, yeah.
Maybe it's more stern there. Maybe it's like, and because I think too in Korea, it's pretty, depending on where you are, it's fair to assume that no one's on drugs. The place is like the cleanest, safest place ever. So when you're walking down the street and someone's smiling, you got to be like, wow, they're not even on drugs and they're walking around smiling. There's something really wrong with them.
There's something real fucked up with them.
So number 5 is don't talk to strangers. That's an American thing too.
Yeah, I would say like just from my experiences. I mean, this is coming from an experience of someone who just someone who you said lived there, according to the article, who's been there. And just my experiences from what I've seen. And talking with my like family and stuff, people just do not get involved with other people's affairs. Like it just doesn't seem like, just from my experiences. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to a story every single
you're good.
Like note, but there was a moment during the day when I was in Korea. We saw this young lady. She was drunk off her ass.
In Korea.
She was fucking wasted. Yeah. She looked to be maybe around 20 something, maybe like upper teens, lower 20s, whatever. But she was going up the stairs in the subway, and she was like slumped against the wall trying to walk up the stairs. She could not stand up, and I felt like I needed to do something to help because
Right.
she was like she could barely fucking stand.
Yeah.
And like it might be an American thing, maybe a South Carolinian thing, but like you want to help people who are like really fucked up.
It's an American
And
thing, and New York would be that
yeah.
same way. Yeah.
And this person was like, dude, she was so fucked up. Like I've seen a lot of drunk people in my life. She was like to the point where like she needed some fucking help. She could barely stand up.
Okay.
And I was like, I stopped walking. I was like, yo, I was like, young, my cousin's name. I was like, hey, help? And he was like, no, why? I was like, oh, look, like call someone, something, right? And like everyone walking by, they just like look at her and keep walking. Like
Yeah.
they didn't even faze anyone.
Right.
And my cousin was like, no, yeah, not our business, and like kept moving. And actually, to this day, I still like feel really bad that like, I didn't help her, put her in a cab or anything. So
It might have been, the truth is, though, it might have been worse if you helped her and she was shocked, because she probably doesn't expect anyone to go up behind her and help her. So she might be thinking something scary, especially because, you're an American. You're obviously an American in Korea. She might be like, what the fuck is this American doing? Like grabbing me. So yeah, but I think the main thing it says basically is like in America, the difference is like in America, you would strike up, a casual conversation with someone standing next to you, or in an elevator, you would be like, how's it going? Cool. All right, great. You take care now. They don't do that in Korea at all. That's like not a thing. So no striking up conversations. But number 6, I'm going to run through this. Number 6 is nobody cares about your achus. So when someone sneezes, nobody says bless you or any of that shit. They're not like, bless you, take care of your life. It's just, which is also a weird thing to say to someone who just sneezes. Like, bless you. So anyways, that's number 6. Number 7, hugging is awkward, which I definitely came to realize when I visited. In America, hugging is like the thing, dude. You're like, oh, what's up, dude? Nice to see you. Big hug, big make out.
It's even incorporated into a handshake here.
Yeah, it's a thug hug. So
is that called the thug hug?
Yeah, I think so. The
thug
hug.
Love that.
Yeah, so
That's
even when I saw my aunt, it's been, not a big deal. It's probably been 20 years since I've seen her. Went to give her a hug. Awkward, dude. Awkward. And when Sarah went to give her a hug, awkward as hell. She like wouldn't hug Sarah.
Sarah does the over the shoulder hug, right? Like
Sarah's a big
side thing.
She does a hug. Well, yes, but when she
because the Koreans, someone who doesn't do a lot of hugs, they'll do the under the arm hug, like because they're like more closed in or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Like to me, I got to remember sometimes that Sarah is a straight up Texan. Like Texans are like, "How you doing?" Big hug over you, and yeah, I mean she's
big personality.
Totally, she's 100% that. So when she visited our family, she's like, "Nice to meet you," and like goes like this. They're like, they're like getting squished by a Texas American. Like even though she's shorter, somehow she can just dominate. In those moments, she gets like 5 inches taller and goes like,
"You sounded just like Sarah too." Nice to meet you.
Yeah, she's like the nicest person in the world, but that niceness is like a weird quality, I think, in Korea. So, number 8, this is dumb, but brush your teeth. Koreans love to brush their teeth.
Okay. I mean, dude, all that fucking kimchi and shit, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, holy hell.
Yeah, and she basically says she found it peculiar that all of her coworkers would brush their teeth right after lunch. So she worked in Korea. So right after lunch, they would brush their teeth. So everyone carries a toothbrush with them everywhere they go, and they would brush their teeth pretty much instantly whenever. That makes sense.
That's crazy.
So number 9 is put your face on. Korean women are constantly touching up their makeup. So all day they're just constantly touching up. They always try to look as young as possible. I mean, K-beauty is a huge thing. Huge
very superficial.
Industry.
Like
extremely.
Yeah.
It's funny that that American perception of me and Matthew being like, oh, that's some superficial bullshit right there. Oh, that's very American. In Korea, they don't understand the bad of that. They don't understand like putting so much value in the way that you look, the damages of that. And who knows what that is. I could be completely.
I think there's something kind of nice about it too, though. Like, because looks, maybe in Korean culture also, like looks, it's something that you can work on too, right? Like you put effort into it, and the results should be something good, right?
Yeah, right.
You work for it, and you know, I know it's similar here too, but in Korean culture, it's like it means a lot, like
Yeah,
the world, like makeup and everything. It's like is fucking plastered everywhere,
right.
signs galore, man. So
And dude,
here too, but not like Korea though.
yeah, and in Korea though too, there is a lot of romanticization of a similar look. Like a lot of Koreans want to look similarly, and I think in America there kind of is that where people try to like look like a celebrity and stuff, but there's so much variety. Like
Yeah.
it's every ethnic race and stuff. So people, you can look like 25 million different things and be a version of beauty in America. In Korea,
I think we also have like a strong like also I think maybe what might play on it also is like a strong sense of like individualism like
yes,
here in
right.
America, like Korean culture. I think a lot of Asian cultures like individualism isn't as pronounced
Romanticized.
as
Yeah.
as American. Like for them it's like they're a fucking unit, it's like they're all part of a very important part of the wheel. So
Yeah.
here it's like well we can all be different wheels and get this
And
thing rolling. So
this bus is gonna like just tip over eventually because we're all
exactly.
yeah. Because there's a multi-billionaire, then right down the street is someone who like can't even pay for a sandwich.
Exactly.
So this
I
bus
mean,
is
nothing
just
wrong with like either side. Like
Right,
I
totally.
find both sides very very valuable. It's commendable. So
right. So the last but not least is number 10. Titles matter. So in a Korean professional setting, calling each other solely by one's first name is considered disrespectful. Instead, employees address each other by their name followed with their work title. So for example, when you're talking to a teacher, she would
name.
maybe, yeah, she would call it Minji, like in American, Minji teacher or Hyerin teacher, but never just like Minji and Hyerin. And she was like, I didn't know until a few months working there, and someone pointed out and was just like, hey, like call them by their work name. So for me, it would be like John Skater Boy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's why a lot of teachers, like even our cousin also, Dummy, she would be Dummy,
right.
Yeah. So she's a teacher.
Oh.
I think the word for a teacher is like sung singing, maybe. Does that ring a bell?
Maybe.
I could be completely wrong.
You probably
it's
are.
Very embarrassing that I'm gonna be very fucking wrong on that, but but yeah. So they always say that when they're talking, even like I feel like mom when she's just talking to someone who is a teacher, not even her own teacher, she'll say that too. So yeah, but
yeah, the last thing that she said, which I think was kind of funny, is she said Korea can be perceived as a rude-ish and distant society, and in my opinion, it is to a certain extent. She said, I oftentimes find certain behaviors very inconsiderate, but I try not to take anything too personally because their worldview differs from mine. So this is an American woman in Korea. She said, I don't consider the Korean way of doing things right or wrong, just another variation in life. And yeah, I mean, there is no right and wrong. It's just a social construct, I guess.
Different
right?
way. It's all perspective.
It's all, whoa. I never thought about it like that, bro.
Yeah.
But it is. And I'll say this, like going into Korea, it will be very hard for me to be empathetic and nice about certain traditions. There's definitely certain things where I'll be like, I will probably refuse. Like I'll be like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that.
There are definitely certain traditions that me and John are like a little different about.
Yeah.
Some that I like do like in Korean, and like you remember that I keep bringing up stories. I'm sorry. So bowing, right?
Yes.
There was a big delineation between how me and John felt about bowing in Korea, right? Like someone had told me like, oh, you need to bow lower, like for me.
To
I was
her.
Like,
the person
to her,
who you bow to said you need to bow lower to me.
Should be bowing lower, and like I was like, I can't bow any lower. Like my response was like, I can't bow any lower because my suit is too tight for my ginormous dick. And so John sat there and he was like, wow, dude, what a fucking asshole for doing that, So
my brain went straight to fuck this person. Yes, she's my aunt.
Like,
who cares?
Yeah, she just like she's power hungry and shit. Like on my side, I'm like close too tight. So
that's
that was definitely
in our brains, like dude, I'm like and that's the thing. It's like I always say these things as if it's the right thing, and I know people will agree. Like I know saying like like I don't think age should be like the way that you're superior. Like superiority should come from a mutual version of respect. And, I can use these words and say these things where I know people out there will agree. So obviously I can confidently say it, but it is just, I can say the same thing about her custom. I can be like, well, bowing, that's just the way it is there. It's not, I don't even know what I'm fucking saying right now, dude.
No, it's just, I mean, like you said, it's just the way it is over there.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to take your perception of it and like kind of meld it with other cultures and stuff, because it's just what you're used to and stuff.
Right. And a part of me is like, I should be respectful of how people feel about things, because people will be respectful of how I feel. Like there's a lot of people who, if they knew that something bothered me, they wouldn't do it. So why should I be any different? And sometimes to me it's hard. Like I give zero credibility to age. Like that is not a thing to me. So like if someone's older or younger or whatever, I'm like, well, dude, you can live a pretty sheltered life until you're 90, and a 12-year-old who's been traveling the world every day since they were 1 probably has more of a mindset that I'd be interested in. So
that's where like our like delineation is probably stemmed from. Like I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Right.
Like, but like my traditional mind is always like, whenever like an older person does say something to me, like it's just my response is to be like, okay, like my mode just changes to yes sir, like elderly mode. I'm like, oh yes ma'am, and John's I guess you like. Yeah, got out of that shit.
I know. I got to figure it out because I already have this. I work with someone who I already know I'm going to have one of these really deep moments with, who's much older than me, and clearly comes from that traditional mindset where they talk to me as if I'm younger. And that's fine, because I also, like in relationships.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So in relationships a lot, I will intentionally be like beta-ish so that they feel like they want to be around me, because it makes them feel strong. Yeah. So I intentionally do this. But then sometimes people push it, and then we end our friendship because there's a day where I go like, this is your last fucking time doing this. And then after this, I'm trying to be nice. I will kill you in your sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, that moment gets really awkward when, like if you just consider someone the beta. But that's in my head. I hate when someone feels superior to other people. So it's weird that I use that tactic. But this guy, we talk a lot, and a lot of times he'll be like, Johnny, dude, listen, man, like, it'll be okay. Trust me. And one day I'm going to have to be like, I don't give a fuck that you're older than me, dude. I know more than you. I'm smarter than you. And I'm allowing you to speak. Like, I'm going to have to be this giant asshole. And when that moment comes, it's going to be very awkward. But I don't know. That's my weird traditional mindset, kind of tapped out of the age thing. And, same with like, I think a lot of it came also from like parents and kids complaining about their parents, like especially friends who are like, my parents are abusive. And I'm like, that was terrible. I intentionally really overstretched that, but I intentionally overstretched that, but it's when
the laughing, dude. People are gonna be like, dude, these two pieces of shit.
There's a point of why I laugh, a good point, when people say that, and then other people go, well, they're your elders. Like, what?
Sorry, I was laughing because you said abusive.
I know, you're right. I know. I'm just saying, like, the whole idea of people being like, no, adults know best, parents know best. And some kid complains about their parents beating them. I'm like, their parent doesn't know best. It's bad advice to tell kids to blindly follow their parents. It's terrible advice, especially in America. Their parents doing some weird shit. And it's like, that's not good advice for a kid. It's like, you have to kind of find out if your parents are right or wrong, which is hard because it means you have to get out from the umbrella of your parents and then figure out if they're right or wrong. And then you have to deal with the hardship of being like, maybe my parents aren't, all-knowing creatures, which they never are. Parents are just as stupid as you, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I will say, though, like, it is surprising, to a surprising degree, like, they can be right a lot. Like, I swear, most of the time, like, I'm, like, looking back, most of the time, I'm like, man, my parents, they don't know shit. And, like, it's crazy looking back now and being like, dude, they fucking knew everything. Like, they knew so much. Like, I mean, nowadays, as you get older, the more you realize that, of course. But, like, my parents will usually say something, and I'm at the point now where I kind of, like, just take it. I'm like, okay. Because now I'm like, they could be right about this. Yeah. I don't want to completely, like, just throw out the window because then I'll look like an idiot. Yeah. So, there's so many things that mom's like, you should listen to me because I'm right about this, Matt. And, like, I hate hearing that. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Mom. And, like, I'll just, like, kind of sit there and, like, I know she's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Because she has been right so many fucking times.
Yeah.
It's infuriating. So, they were surprisingly more right than you guys think.
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah.
So,
And some of the
than what
signs
I thought. I thought my parents were always wrong. So.
Right, the signs of what not to pay attention to are a little more obvious than that. Like in those moments, it's fine. Obviously, you should be respectful of parents trying to give you advice. But I guess when they punch you in the face, that's when you go like, maybe they're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm on the phone with mom, sometimes after a conversation, she'll be like, "Oh, you should do this, 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 this." And I'll be like, "Okay, cool, yeah." And I'll hang up and Sarah will be like, "What was that about?" I'm like, "I don't know. My mom being wrong about a bunch of stuff." I'm like, I don't know, nonsense. I'm like, she doesn't
like it does feel like it's so much nonsense. Yeah.
I'm like,
and
she doesn't realize
mom does have a
tendency
tendency to do that. She like machine guns it. She's just like, you should do this, 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 this. She's very like, she likes to give advice.
Yeah, she does, and it's fine. I mean, I do too.
Sometimes she just kind of just needs to shut the fuck up. Sometimes though, yeah.
Parents do need to do that sometimes. So,
I'm kidding, Mom.
I love you if you're watching.
Yeah, I love you.
Is there anything that you specifically want to talk about? Because we are coming pretty close to the end. I have one more topic that I could cover, but unless you have anything you want to talk about.
Holy shit. That much time's passed? I feel so bad because almost for every single one of those points.
No, that's fine. No, it's fine. It's
fucking
fine.
Story.
It's fine.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, man.
No, it's funny. I thought it was actually that. I think that is good storytelling, actually. Give more context. But yeah.
Let's just move right on, man.
Okay. Well, this is the thing that the last thing I talked about, because we've been watching shows and there's so much that we can talk about, but it's only, we try to keep it an hour and a half, even though it's already been an hour and a half. So.
Fuck, we didn't talk about anime for that whole segment.
Oh my god.
I didn't think about that.
No, I think the Korean culture, that'll be fun. I'm going to upload some of those clips and see how people vibe with that. I know people like those childhood antics, especially if they can relate to it.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about is the anime that scarred me for 10 years.
Oh shit!
We
didn't do this last time.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I actually wrote a lot about this today, so I actually have kind of a lot to say. But there was a time, we mentioned this lightheartedly the other day, but there was a time where when I was a kid, I wasn't super interested in anime. Matthew was still going down that avenue. I had just got done watching Dragon Ball Z. And
Can I precurse this with something real quick? Like, so, I don't even know if that's the word, precurse, but so John, for a lot of you guys out there that don't really know this, John is not into very gory kind of things in general.
Right.
And it especially hits home in animes. So it's so funny seeing the comments on the animes you should watch.
Yeah.
I was literally dying the other day because one dude was like, you'll know this anime, but it's very popular in the anime world. And it's funny how many times we've mentioned this, that you don't like super gory animes because it might be a little too much. And they don't even have to be super gory. Like when I say super gory out there to some people, they're like, oh, you're talking about these anime. No, I'm talking like even if it's a little bit gory, like a little bit fucked up, like it might be a little too much. But someone out there, they named a lot of good animes. I don't know who the commenter was. Maybe we might look back and mention, but he was like, yeah, you should try these animes out. And then he was like, yo, tell him to also watch Elfen Lied. And I'm not gonna lie, the commenter who said that, he'll know who he was because he was like the only one that said it. But it was really funny because Elfen Lied has one of the like most fucked up intros. Like it's like the most popular fucked up intro.
Okay.
It is like fucking like if you had watched it, you would be like, I'm done with anime for another 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it's actually one of the first I've seen. I think it's for a lot of people. It's the first like fucked up scene they see. It's like it's so funny they said that because I was thinking in my head and I literally made that joke to a couple of my friends because I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this podcast thing, and they're like, dude, you know what he should watch? And we taking turns. I was like, dude, we should seriously do a reaction of him watching the first episode of Elfen Lied. And everyone was like, dude, don't do that to him. Yeah, that's how we talk. Dude,
dog.
Don't do that to him. And yeah, we literally mentioned it and I talked about it for a bit. And yeah, the commenter he said that. So yeah, I mean, not to call you out, man. Because that anime it's not bad at all. But yeah, it's just might be a little much for John.
Yeah, no, a very little is very much for me. Yeah, I love living in, like, when I watch anime, I want to be like in a cute fantasy world. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I like Mob Psycho is perfect, and then like the dark. Here's the funny thing is, a lot of
Camera, sorry.
let me pee. I walked into Matthew's room and he was watching an anime, and it's funny because it's actually an anime that a lot of people will watch right after some of the ones I was talking about earlier, like Dragon Ball Z. Like, this anime is a good next step for a lot of people, but it is Full Metal Alchemist. And we already talked about this a little bit on the last channel, so I'm not going to go into super detail about it.
The original one.
The original one. So basically, there was two scenes that I happened to walk in on. Matthew was watching. One was the intro scene where they did alchemy, and basically one of the brothers lost his body, and the other brother lost his arm and his leg. And I was like, damn, this is kind of fucked up. This is crazy. And I was like, okay. And I was like young. I mean, I was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. No, I was probably 10-ish.
Yeah. And it showed the mother in that decayed state.
Yep.
And lots of blood, and it's very, very dark and fucked up scene, yeah.
Right. And it was really hard for me. And I remember I thought about it for like, it was really hard for me. Like, I went through some trauma and it was watching a cartoon. It was really hard for my life. But anyways, but after that, I was like, whatever, that's fine. I probably won't watch that anime. It seems too dark. So, of course, my brother's watching it again. I'm like, fuck, whatever, dude. I'll go in there and see what he's watching. And I already know now that this is one of the most popular episodes ever of anime. But he happened to be watching the episode where the girl and the dog turned into one, and it was disgusting. And
it's Nina and Alexander. Their father Tucker. Spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen it. Fused the daughter and the dog together.
Yeah,
it was really fucked up. It's a very fucked up episode, actually.
Exactly. To me, that's like just as gnarly as, like, you know, the Human Centipede or something. Like, it is that level of like fucked upness of being like, okay, now a dog and a little girl are combined into one. So I was just like, I wonder if anyone else like felt this way. Like, for me, I literally at that point was like, anime isn't for me. Like, that's seriously what I thought. And I didn't watch anime pretty much my entire adolescence because of that scene. Of being like, this shit's not for me. Like, it's clearly this weird darkness thing, and I need my life to be lighthearted up until a certain point to where I can, like, go back. But right now, it's got to be cute. And and that's the thing. Like, even now, though, I'm like, now I love anime, and I love watching it, but it still has to be good to a certain extent. So I am kind of a pansy with it. And a lot of people out there actually have been really good at recommending. People are like, hey, do you want a list of cute animes that are really relaxing? Watch these. Thank you. Love you. But, so, I looked this up, and I was like, what do people think? So I found this forum where basically someone was like, hey, it was captioned Full Metal Alchemist is overlooked as horror. Like, what people don't know is a lot of it is horror. And it says something that outsiders probably don't realize about Full Metal Alchemist is just how grotesque and disturbing it can be for mainstream shonen. It has never been a story that shies away from death, even when the victims are cute little girls and their pet dogs. And that's when I was like, oh, that's funny that it said that. So this guy comes in and he goes, so I've started watching this show, and it's like, literally my first two animes that I came from before this are Pokemon and Digimon.
Poor bastard.
I know. And he says, and by episode 6 of Full Metal Alchemist, there's a surprising number of creepy, disturbing moments, especially episode 4, Gluttony's Cannibalism. I don't know what that is, but episode 2...
Yeah, Gluttony is a guy, like the fat, I don't know if you remember, he's like the kind of round little guy, he has like big giant teeth and bald head dude. He looks really cartoonish. Like, he looks like a very silly character. Okay. But he eats people. So
nice. And it says episode 2, and I think that's it. I'm kind of sensitive to this stuff though, although I don't mind blood/gore at all. And I love the action sequences. I was just wondering if anyone could list some episodes for me to avoid, as I was ready to leave the show behind after a few episodes due to the disturbing content. But I'm gonna try to stick it through because it was recommended to me a ton. And the fucking comments are hilarious. So somebody basically said, you're going to have a rough time getting that done. They said, as you've already said, you're only 6 episodes in. There's already a smattering amount of creepy, disturbing stuff. The fact of the matter is that you don't want to see that kind of content. You should probably watch a different show.
Exactly. And plus, like, the people who he's asking to, you know, create suggestions from, the anime community, they'd be like, I mean, we've asked suggestions from, you know, a lot of people, and, you know, I mean, you see the results, like, Elfen lied.
Yeah, exactly.
Berserk, it's like,
Right.
no offense to those guys. Those are awesome animes. Just,
Right. Just not me, because I just can't, dude. I don't know. I'm a pansy with that kind of stuff. And then somebody else says, you should find a new show to watch. If you skip every episode that contains moments like that, the plot won't make any sense.
Yeah,
so
you'd be skipping a lot of episodes too.
Yeah, and so for me, I was like, because I even wanted to get back on Full Metal Alchemist, ironically, because Elon Musk was like tweeting about it. He changed his avatar on Twitter to the main character of Full Metal Alchemist. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, if the guy who's changing the entire planet is into the show, maybe I should try to give it another chance. But after reading all this stuff, I was like, hell no. But this guy, so basically the last comment that I actually documented, somebody said, one of the reasons FMA is so notable is that it doesn't shy away from dark themes and depression, and it's one of the reasons I enjoy it so much. If you can't handle it, I do feel bad, but you can watch stuff like My Hero Academia. It's really fun. There are a lot of others that are worth it. They also recommended Fairy Tail, Kill la Kill. It says, but don't watch it with other people in the room.
Yeah, Kill la Kill is very extremely
Oh, okay.
Hugely, like, because it's a show about threads, like clothing and stuff.
Gotcha. So it feels like you're watching porn some of the times?
Oh, actually, it's from the same people who've done Gurren Lagann. Same art style. Except that show is extremely sexualized.
Even Gurren Lagann, you said?
No, Gurren Lagann's pretty good on that. Like, I think you saw the first episode of Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
I want to say that was like the only episode that really does that.
Oh, okay.
There might be another one, but they don't like go too ham on it with Gurren Lagann.
Cool.
But they definitely do on Kill la Kill.
Gotcha. And they said on the last one they recommended was Konosuba. And it said it's great if you like comedies, and it's even better if you're a D&D player and a nerd. So those are the three that he recommended. He said, good luck, though. I hope you find something you can enjoy and can eventually get through FMA. So he's basically saying, like, maybe you should try some other stuff and eventually get back into it. But at this point, even with a lot of the time I've spent into watching animes, when I read about it, like, those two scenes were already pretty horrific enough, but people kind of went into detail about other scenes and be like, yo, like, here's like 4 things that happen as well. If you can stand watching this, then maybe you can get through it. And they listed out, and I was like, fuck no. Like 4 of them, I was like, I would cry.
Because that that Tucker scene is like, to me, the worst scene in the entire thing. There are a lot of fucked up scenes in the show. And I'm speaking more specifically on the first Full Metal Alchemist. They made Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is kind of like a redo. Yeah. And followed the manga more. So Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, those same scenes, I actually looked back on those scenes and I watched them because they happen again in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Spoiler alert. But they're not nearly as bad. Like, really? Yeah, like the scene where, they try to res the mom, that scene, there's a lot less blood. I mean, they went kind of ham on it with like the first one. Yeah. The scene with Tucker, that's not as bad because, and the other one, I think, at the end of that episode, spoiler alert, guys, Scar, he kills that creature, the dog girl. Right. So he kills, and it shows like the results and stuff. It's pretty fucked up. Okay. And so they don't do that in Brotherhood. Brotherhood is a lot more friendly in that sense. But it's still as disturbing. I mean, the thoughts there. So yeah. So that show literally put me off for like 15 years. So I feel like I am going to try I probably won't end up watching that, but dude, I mean, how many animes are there that I can watch? Hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, a lot. And if you go on Funimation, I swear Funimation, a lot of people are just watching the most popular ones and recommending those, which is cool. And for me, it's been cool. So like right now, my current ones that I'm watching, Matthew just finished this actually, but I'm watching Blue Exorcist. I've been watching a little bit of Black Clover. I'm not going to go into detail, but I haven't been really enjoying it, honestly. Black Clover, is that it? Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching the Assassination Class. I think that's good. Assassination Classroom.
Yep, I like that one. I just watched. I'm trying to watch Gurren Lagann again. I kind of got off it after that first day, but because I feel like once I start watching that, I'm going to watch the whole thing. But I've been watching Samurai Champloo, and then which is awesome, of course, and then Champloo.
Shampoo. I would say shampoo, like shampoo. Cool.
Right.
But that's the way I say it. So
I've been watching One Piece, and then I've been watching this one that just came up the other day that I was telling Matthew about. But basically, a kid goes into a video game. and he has to fight for survival. Like they're stuck.
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sword Art Online. So I only watched one episode of that, and I was like, maybe come back. But yeah, for now, I literally might watch.
You got a list.
I got a list. I might literally go back to Mob Psycho, and rewatch that again too. So what's your list looking like, bro, man? Sexual.
So my list. Damn it. Let's try and get through that without laughing. What am I watching right now? I watched a lot of episodes of Hunter x Hunter. I think I'll have that as like my background show because that show is like the easiest fucking. Are you frozen?
No.
Oh. Dude,
I wanted you to
did
think
not
that
move for so long.
I wanted you to think that.
But yeah. So it's easy to watch. I guess next episode we can talk a bit more about that.
Yeah.
But other shows I'm watching. I mean, what a fucking week! Watching Erased, like, I love that show. It's like right up my alley. So for those of you out there, my favorite genre is like, usually like thriller and slice of life. Those two are my favorite genres in anime. And fuck, I was just very impressed with Erased. Yeah, and I just finished Mob Psycho, so like for me, whatever's next is just gonna be. It feels like, man, how do you top that, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think I might go into the second season of Mushishi, maybe. It's about this guy who wanders around and he fixes people's troubles like with things like spiritually, you know.
Okay.
So it looks like it's like feudal Japan. I'm not sure. It's definitely is like in the past and stuff. But might go with that. Yeah, I don't know.
That it?
I can't remember. Are there other animes that we talked about?
I think so, but you know what? You can just tune in next week. I think every Monday I'll be putting out. Maybe I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to clips or actually the full episodes. I still don't really know, honestly. But I think this Monday I'll put out the full episode of us just talking, and it shall be cool. But yeah, so every Monday is gonna be a new podcast, not Sunday, because I figured Monday is a good day because I actually upload YouTube videos on Tuesday and Thursday on my personal channel. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are clips on this channel. So that's
Dr. Stone.
Boom.
Yeah, sorry. Dr. Stone. I might watch a couple episodes of Dr.
Cool.
Stone because people keep fucking saying just watch it. So
Let's do it.
try a few episodes. And of course Demon Slayer.
Of course. We got to get to Demon
Oh,
Slayer.
no, wait. We have to talk about it next week and then think about
right. Yeah, okay.
watch-
So after next week, we'll start watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think on that note, thank you for listening, watching another episode of Intro to... I could literally go on for like another 4 hours. Like, there's so much stuff I have to talk about.
Me too, man. There's so much, and I feel so bad because I'm telling you, I feel so bad for like fucking pausing and like talking so much about
No,
the.
you're good. No, that
points.
adds quality.
Yeah, but damn, like there is so much that we can talk about. Like those phone calls, like us talking to each other over the week, man. All those things we talked about.
Yeah.
Remember how many times we were like, dude, this would be great to talk about on Saturday. It is a fucking list. We had covered like what? Just the surface of things, man.
And I have more on my list that we didn't go over that I'm like the Hunter x Hunter I actually really want to talk about. We have to wait till next week. But thank you for tuning in. Matt Hill has no social media, so you literally don't need to. But I would just say follow Intro to Anime Instagram. Check out the link in the description down below. Just click the thing. And if you are listening to this, you can actually watch the full video on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you can just go listen to us, go for a run, go to work, do your damn thing, put us in your ears, and just tune into a different fantasy world. Listen to us talking shit and being silly while you're doing your life. Because you know what? Sometimes people listen to really serious podcasts all the time. Cool. But if your life's
just
really
take it easy, man.
Yeah, just relax, bro.
Just relax a little.
Yeah, this is beneficial to the world. We're saving the planet.
This will save people, yeah.
It definitely will. And yeah, on that note, I'll see you next time. Yeah, it's really hard to sign off because I just want to keep talking. But that's it.
Peace!
안녕히계세요.
안녕히가세요.
And here's some bonus. Can you take me higher? Should we give an actual introduction that we did? We didn't do it last time, and I kind of liked it that way, but just in case. Welcome to another episode of Intro to Anime. This is your boy, Young, Juno, the fourth Uno. Do that again. The fourth twice removed.
Your list of words.
Yeah. Hold on. The fourth twice removed Alexander the Great, Daniel Alexander. And I'm here with someone who I have known since I was 16 or 17. We met.
Probably like, well, for me, for you 0.
Oh,
for
right,
me,
right.
like 1.
Damn. So that actually kind of upsets me that there's a time in your life where you didn't have to know me. And in my life, I had to know you instantly.
Know me.
Like, I remember coming out of the womb going, ah, and looking to the left and just seeing you on the ground like,
This life's gonna suck.
yeah. You're like, I've been here for a year now, and you should go back. Trust me, it's not worth it. And that's just how it started. But hello, everyone. Welcome. There is not a new episode of My Hero Academia, so we're not going to talk about that. But we have 2,000 topics to talk about always. We're never able to cover everything we want to talk about. So today, I don't actually even know where to start, but I have like a list of 5 or 6 things that I think are fun to talk about. Didn't you have a few things that you wanted to mention as well? Like, I feel like we should talk about Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, I just cut you off.
You asked me the question, and then you went right into just moving on. Did you have a couple things? Anyways.
Sorry. Okay, what do you want to talk about, idiot?
Just some animes, man.
Okay, good.
I'm glad you gave me time to, like, clarify.
How about we just start off talking about the one that we talked about yesterday, pathologically. So you, in the last couple of days, good
You're
voice
hate
crack.
me so much.
Why?
It wasn't recording.
Well, this one was, right?
Yeah, okay, so we're good?
Yeah, well, at least we have that footage, yeah.
Okay, so it's just gonna be me, like,
all of a sudden your camera just gets 3 times better.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about this.
I hate you. What's up?
I should record this fucking thing, huh?
I think it's on the
There we go.
Is it recording?
Wait.
Should
record. All right.
Is it recording?
Record, dude. Yeah, it's recording now.
Definitely?
Yep.
Okay, and let me know, because that thing, I think it cuts off after 30 minutes, too.
Yeah, it'll cut off after 30 minutes.